Hey y'all, Mr. Lapeze here. One final time for a major essay with some reminders and a quick review of in-text citations before your essay number 3 comes due pretty soon, the final major essay this semester. So first thing, what I wanted to walk through with y'all are some in-text citation examples. So how to document your sources when you quote within your paper. And what I have on this Word document, or the four main ways you'll have to quote, depending on the type of source material you have. So the first two say paginated. So this is number one, a paginated source with the author in the signal phrase, and number two says paginated source, author not in the signal phrase. And paginated just means a source that has page numbers. So this will cover any of your research materials for essay number 3 that have page numbers. And it'll cover every reading in our WATEC reader, because obviously the WATEC reader has page numbers on for each reading. So for a paginated source and you have the author in the signal phrase, this is a good model. You can just plug in your own information into this model if you like. And what it says is this. It says, in title of the essay, a tax system stacked against the 99%, author of the essay, Joseph E. Stiglitz, writes. So this is your signal phrase, the full signal phrase, which signals the source of the quotation which is coming. Says, in a tax system stacked against the 99%, Joseph E. Stiglitz writes. And then everything that follows is the quotation, and you see it's within quotation marks, and it says, research in recent years has linked the tax rates, sluggish growth, and rising inequality. So this is just a snippet of what might appear in a body paragraph, for example, in your essay number 3. You have the author, you have the essay title from which the quotation will come, and then you have the quotation. So if your author is in the sentence, within the signal phrase, and the source is paginated, meaning it has page numbers, your citation will look like this. This is the page number from which the quotation comes. It's inside parentheses, and the period follows the parentheses. Even if this sentence, which is from the original source, contains a period here, you don't keep it inside your quotation marks. You remove it. You only need one period per sentence, and that will come after the citation. So this is an example of, if you have a paginated source and your author is in the signal phrase, here he is right here, your citation will look like this. A wrinkle on that is, let's just say you've quoted from that source a few times already, and you introduce the author, Joseph Stiglitz, elsewhere in your paper. And so by now, in this paragraph, for example, your reader knows which source you're quoting from. It's obvious from the context of your paper. And so your signal phrase looks as simple as this. The author writes. So we removed the author's name from the signal phrase, and what we did was we put the author writes. This is the signal phrase, so the author is not in the signal phrase. So what you need to do, if the author is not inside the sentence, you need to include the author's name with the page number in the parentheses for the citation. So here we have Stiglitz. This signals to your reader where the source comes from, where the quotation comes from. And then there is a space here, if you can't see it. So it's author last name, space, page from which the quotation derives, close your quotation, your parentheses, period. So again, this is the exact same quotation from the same source. The only difference is the author is not in the signal phrase. It just says author. It doesn't give his name, so you need to put his name with the page number in the citation. These two, 3 and 4, they are going to be most common for y'all who have research material for essay number 3 that comes from the web. Web sources very commonly are not paginated. They don't have page numbers. And so this is the way you do it. This is quite simple. If your author is in the signal phrase, so we have here, however, Paul Krugman, in his essay, The Very Strong Case for Bidenomics, argues, here's your signal phrase, the author is here. Remember, this source is non-paginated, so there is no citation at the end. When you close your quotation marks, you put the period inside, and that is the end of the quotation, end of your own sentence. There's nothing to put there because your author is in the sentence, There's no page numbers on this source, so you just close your quotation mark, put a period inside. For the same source, for example, you may have a signal phrase that does not include the author's name. And there's no page numbers, so what you will do is put the author's name alone inside the citation. So here we have, however, even before the coronavirus, good employment numbers could hide underlying economic weakness. So you have your quotation, and then you have your signal phrase, argues the author. So the author's name is not in the signal phrase, no page numbers, it's a non-paginated source. So all you will put is the author's last name, Krugman, inside the citation with a period afterwards. So again, these are the 4 most common ways that you might need to include an in-text citation. Again, web sources are commonly non-paginated, so that's 3 and 4. If you have your author in the sentence, you leave the citation off. If you have your author not within the sentence, no name listed here, you put your author's last name in the citation. There's no page number. That's all you need. And then these are just some general reminders for your essay, things I wanted to make sure I touched on before anybody turned in final drafts. So for essay number 3, everybody should have 6 sources total, no more or less. I should not look at anybody's works cited page and you have 5 entries, you have 2 entries, or you have 10 entries. Everybody should have 6 sources from which you quote, paraphrase, or summarize listed on your works cited page. That's a requirement. Anything less or more than that, you're going outside of the requirement, you'll lose points. And then the 6 are comprised of 3 of our class readings. We did 5 readings leading up to essay number 3 final draft. Reich, Brooks, Krugman, 2 essays from Krugman, and Ehrenreich. So you're going to choose 3 of those 5 readings, pair them with 3 of your own research materials, and that will equal 3 sources total for essay number 3. Something else, make sure your essay addresses not just the definition of success, but the role of government in helping people achieve that definition of success. And that's in the prompt, but it's not a common mistake, but it's a big mistake because you're missing half of the assignment prompt. So make sure your essay addresses both parts. What is success in contemporary America? How do you define it, etc.? What is it comprised of? And then what is the role of the government in helping people achieve that version of success? Both parts. Length requirement. If you were ever going to try to get the full length requirement, this is the essay to do it. Some of y'all have struggled just a little bit to reach the full 3 pages for essay number 1 and 4 for essay number 2. Get an early start, and if I can help, just reach out. But 5 full pages for this essay. Less, as always, less results in a loss of a letter grade. So you get that 5 down to the very bottom of page 5, so you make sure you don't lose points. I don't want anybody to be accused of plagiarism on the last major essay. So remember, anytime you summarize, paraphrase, or quote, in other words, anytime you borrow language or ideas, you should have an in-text citation, and that source should be listed as a works cited entry. So both places you document sources, in text, inside your paragraph when you quote, paraphrase, or summarize, and in your works cited page. And then finally, y'all, just remember how much it's worth. This is worth 25% of the course, so a quarter of the whole course. Make sure you proofread carefully. Make sure you understand that there's nothing really coming up after this that's going to be anywhere nearly as important for your grade as essay number 3. The only major outstanding assignment is the final exam, and that'll be worth 15%. So if you're going to make a final push to get your A, B, or C, this is the essay to do it on, y'all. Good luck. Feel free to come back to this video and look at these examples of in-text citations. They should fit almost everybody's source material, regardless of where you get it from. And let me know if I can help, y'all. Don't be afraid to reach out to me via email. Use the Real Center, use the ILC, whatever you need to do within the rules, obviously, to get your best grade possible. Have a great time between now and the final draft. And if I can help y'all, just let me know. Bye.